By the way, Lily, I got this copyright-free music. I got this music for the stream, and it's actually like banging. It's a banger. No, there's like 10 or no, there's like 15 songs. Yeah. I eat. I eat. Stream will be starting soon, ladies and gentlemen. We're just waiting on Lily to make a charcuterie board. But do not fear. Everything is ready to go. Once she's done, we'll just grab a glass of wine. I would suggest you choose your beverage wisely and enjoy the content as we dish it out, if you will. So yeah, grab yourself a snack, maybe a quick drink. Maybe turn your fan on, face it towards yourself. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, as always, ladies and gents, if you have any questions, please feel free to throw it in the chat, and me and Lily will get to them at some point during the stream. We will make sure to not miss any. Okay. So, noise-wise, how is the music compared to my voice? Any problems there? Just let me know. Besides that, the images that you're going to be seeing are just kind of some adventures that me and Lily have been on. Some actually just from me, but I just figured it'd be a nice background to the podcast and the vibes. You'll see Indy. That's actually Piper there. A little corgi. But Indy will be showing up in here as well. So let me know what you think, because she's pretty freaking funny. And yeah, this stream doesn't really have any direction. I think we're just gonna kind of go with the flow of things and see how it goes from there. Uh-oh. Indy is upset. You guys also might hear Indy in the background of this, but that's okay. He's just trying to say hello himself. So in terms of content, please let me know what you guys would like to see on the channel. That would be huge. I haven't really decided if I'm going to go games, podcasts, both, what kind of games. Kind of been exploring a lot of games lately, so if there's any preference, that would definitely guide my gameplay. I'm having a ton of fun playing Borderlands right now. Incredible game, Borderlands 3. If you guys haven't played it, it's really good. I haven't played the second one, which I know is a lot of people's favorite, but if you're into Borderlands and looter shooters, that's a great one. And then also the new zombies map just came out on Cold War. It's pretty fun, I'm not gonna lie. I had one attempt yesterday and got to round 50, so I think it's actually kind of an easier map as well. So, and I exfilled without dying, so that's pretty impressive. Cuckoo, I'm gonna grab a drink. I'll be back. Yeah. What? Okay. I'm realizing my desk is not made for two people. My desk is not made for two. Holy shibby. I don't even know where to put my shit. Oh my gosh. Way too much stuff. Okay. Oh. Chair placement, not ideal. I'm totally aware. Also, this rosé, not sweet. Big sad. But it's all good. Okay. Welcome back to the most world-renowned podcasts on the planet, really. Maybe in the universe. It's a Pineapple Hybrid podcast. I am joined with my guest today, the beautiful Lily. Lily, say hello.
Hello, everybody.
And we're going to be talking about a ton of different things, but first of all, how's it going?
Good. I'm starving right now. It's been a long day. Just got home from the grocery, but...
Lily made a charcuterie board, and it actually is quite beautiful. With the amount of time that you had, I am shook.
It's just a quick one. Just some snackies, you know.
Within 15 minutes, I feel like it really turned out flame.
Thank you, darling.
So don't mind the eating.
Apologize for the chewing noises.
This isn't an ASMR stream, but it might feel like it.
It could be.
I had this moment today. Actually, not long ago. Maybe like 20 minutes ago. Not 20 minutes ago. Maybe an hour ago. When I was driving back from the gym, I saw this old lady on the side of the road, right? And her hair was like an absolute mess, but she was wearing these red Converse, smoking a cig, and just had this huge backpack on. And I was like, what is this lady's story? And like, how did you get there? So, any thoughts, any theories, how this old lady got to that point?
I love it. I don't know. I feel like I almost need more context. Do we think she was homeless, or do you think she was just like vibing?
She did not look homeless. Like,
she's just like on her way.
I think so. Just kind of traveling.
That's awesome. I don't know. I feel like it takes a very independent person. I feel like those are the ladies who never really settle down and just are out there getting it their whole lives, man.
Is that gonna be you? Are you gonna be homeless? Well, not though. What do they call it?
I'm not opposed.
Couch surfing? Are you gonna do that? I don't really understand that. Is that you're milking off of every single person that you're like staying with?
No.
Or is it that you have so many people you know that you're like jumping around to see everyone and you also travel so much? Is it one of those?
More like that. In my opinion.
Do you know any couch surfers?
You can definitely put a negative spin on it if you want, and there definitely are people who just milk their family and friends dry, but I don't think I'd be one of those.
Not one of those, but I guess if you're the good couch surfer, it's chill, right?
I would hope so. I think it'd be, like, we really enjoy having guests, so.
That's true.
I think if one of our friends was like, hey, can I come stay with you guys? We'd be like, absolutely.
But what if they were like, hey, can I come stay with you guys for like a month?
I mean, personally, no big deal. Heck yeah, come live with us.
True. We definitely have that might be like a unique part of us. But I don't think a lot of people feel the same way.
Yeah. I think it takes a certain type of person, but I think if you have the right friend group, that's just the vibe of the group, and you can go with it, which is awesome.
I think we have the right friend group.
I do too.
We're gonna match that vibe.
Very cool people.
We've had how many people here now? Different people, but I guess besides our parents. We've only had, I guess one. Thinking about it, but we haven't had any time. It's only been 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Or I guess 3 weeks.
Just a little over 2, yeah.
It's been 3 weeks since we moved in. My parents have already asked if we have everything set up yet.
Not even close.
And my mom was like, you have everything set up? And I was like, we have a lot set up, but like, I think we're far from like being satisfied. And she was just like, oh, really? Me and your dad had everything set up within like a week. And I was like, that's actually a lie. Like, my dad didn't have the garage set up for like a year and a half.
I was gonna say, I think everybody, once you're settled, you think it happens a lot quicker than it actually.
You thought it was like instantaneous?
It happened, yeah.
Even though that's
I
actually...
thought back on it and I was like, yeah, it does only take us a while to get settled, but no, it takes a minute to move in and really make it your own. Oh my gosh, that so good.
I know you like just had to include it. But anyways, more on topic question. What is the first memory you have of us like talking about moving in together? Like, when's the first time that you remember us being like, maybe that's an option?
Like, for real, or just like throwing it out there in the wind? Because I
That's
feel
a good
like
one. Whichever one you want. Maybe both. What comes to mind first?
I don't really remember when we like threw it out there for the first time ever. Like, actually, because I know obviously like when you start dating somebody and you're the puppy dog fan, you're like, oh my gosh, we live together, blah, blah, blah. But you don't really like say that to the other person, so I don't know when that kind of came through. I'm sure it was almost an accidental, like, oh, what if someday, long in the future, and I think it was always kind of long in the future, up until literally when the
end
other
of the
roommate
earth
situations,
fell through.
just fell apart, and then I think that was the day that I was like, well, why would we both be unhappy and do other things and make other things work to then be at each other's houses? Why not just get something we really love? And I think it all worked out just the way it was supposed to.
So, to give some context, I think you should chime in whenever you feel like I'm not saying it right.
Okay.
But, basically, Lily's about to finish college, right? So, here's a scenario for you. Lily's about to finish college. Her other roommate is going back to California, where she was originally from. And that basically leaves Lily high and dry until she can find someone else. So, kind of on the hunt for quite some time, I'd say.
It was like a good, 2.5 months worth of scouring. Like, I was posting, I was on Bumble BFF every day. I was truly
walking into alleyways,
scouring.
just are you looking for a roommate?
It felt really
bad. Do you have any money?
It felt really lonely. Yeah, I don't know. It was such a different position to be in. I feel like it's just a weird time in your life to be graduating college and needing somewhere to live and trying to start a job and not exactly knowing what all your friends are doing or what their plan is. Everybody's just such in an independent period right then and there, deciding what they're gonna do, that it's really hard to pin anyone down. So yeah, it was
That's fair. Yeah.
I was a stressful couple of months, and yeah, I was scouring every day. I was definitely asking you about it every day, being like, do you know anyone? What is going on? What are we
This is true.
So.
But even at the time, I was asking everyone I knew if they knew anyone, if they were looking for someone, and everybody was either, I have no idea what I'm doing, or I'm gonna go on this huge adventure. Once that's over, I have no clue what the next step is. But they usually knew for sure that they weren't ready to commit.
Yeah, I feel like it was a lot of.
But you didn't have the option to not commit, right?
No, my lease was ending. I have the dog. I had a job lined up. It was really not an option to just take some time and recollect. I really wanted to, and I thought about possibly trying to live with my brother for a second, but my dog isn't able to live at his house, so it just didn't seem like a good.
Oh yeah.
Just for a second, so that I could regroup and try and get everything together.
Couch surfing. I'm just kidding.
Stop it. Different. You're giving it a negative connotation.
Just because I said couch surfing doesn't mean it's negative. That was your interpretation.
It's the tone, big dog.
It's the tone. You said it in a weird way. Well, needless to say.
Said it like I'm a dirty hobo.
Basically, things kind of worked out for a second there, right? You found somebody. Things kind of started to line up for 24 hours or so?
Yeah,
it wasn't that short,
for,
but
2 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And we were looking for places, but it didn't seem exactly like the stars were aligning. They still weren't looking for what I was looking for exactly. So there was a lot of compromise to be had, but at least there was a light at the end of the tunnel, and I wasn't gonna be alone and trying to just support me and the dog.
Mm-hmm.
I did find some people there for a second, and then I think 2 days after we had decided that we'd be okay living with each other, that's when
everything fell through.
Your world fell apart.
Yeah. Which is a whole nother story in itself. But quick synopsis. I had a roommate lined up for months in which I was like pretty committed. Not pretty committed. I was totally committed, really. And was trying to like really look into places where we could go, what would be convenient for both of us, blah blah blah. And then out of fucking nowhere, you know, like a train T-boning someone in an intersection where there's not even train tracks. Out of fucking nowhere. Plans just shift completely. And it's like, yo, you're homeless. And I'm like, oh. So, at that point, we had a conversation about that. And then it was like, maybe this whole, like, joke of moving in together shouldn't be a joke anymore. Or maybe we should just do it.
And you were in a unique situation because you were living at home at the time, so you didn't like have a lease that you were dependent on. Like you were pretty much.
Yeah, I was flexible.
Yeah, which was super lucky.
Yeah, and like, obviously it was still on the table to live at home, but as many people in college can probably relate, once you leave the nest, if you will, and come back, you're like, why did I come back here? I need to leave again. So, and it's nothing against like my parents or the situation, but it just doesn't feel right. It just isn't. You want independence so badly, especially after like achieving something like finishing college. You feel like you've earned it, and so going back almost feels like you're stepping backwards, and you're like, all that work, and we're back here. So, that was my motivation behind coming back.
Yeah.
Just like, if I'm gonna come back, I'm just gonna stay here for as short as possible. And right when the first opportunity comes up, I'm out. And that was the first opportunity. Well, this is.
Yeah.
So yeah, what was your first worry that came up when this whole process kind of went underway? What was the first thing you're like, I'm worried about that?
I think initially, just when it even became an option, I was like, our moms are gonna be so angry.
They're gonna be pissed.
Yeah, that was definitely a big.
And they.
I was concerned. I'm not gonna say they're not angry.
I'm not gonna say they are because that would be outing them.
But I'm not gonna say they're not.
It's just gonna be up to discretion, viewers' discretion. I don't know if that was actually mine. Although yours, that's a completely valid thing to be worried about.
What was your fear?
I think my first fear was she's gonna see like a different side of me, and is that gonna be okay?
What side of you would you say?
Like I don't know, 24/7 when you get into like lulls where you just like, I want to be alone, I don't want to speak, I'm just gonna do my thing. Like, I didn't want those to come across as like I'm angry, but sometimes it feels that way, you know. Especially if you're with someone so often, and whenever you're together, you do stuff that all of a sudden, when you're together and you're not doing stuff, you almost feel like, what's going on?
Are we good?
Yeah, like, are you okay?
No, that's fair.
So, I was a little worried about that, but you were incredibly adaptive, if you will. I feel like you probably knew that side of me already a little bit, but you have impressed me.
Well, good.
In a very, very nice way. Okay. And I don't want to like, I'm so impressed that I don't want to take advantage. So I'm just like, wow, she's like so good about me just doing my thing. I don't want to get to the point where I'm just like, I just do my thing all the time.
I definitely feel that though. That was definitely another worry that I had. I was like, are we just going to be like conjoined at the hip now? Like, are we still going to have other friends? Because I don't know. I feel like just instinctively, naturally, with all the people that I've lived with in college, all of a sudden they're my best friend. They're who I like to hang out with. Like, I'm just that type of gal where like convenience is key, and I just love you if we live together, and it's so awesome. And like, it's been great because that's how I formed like such good bonds in college. But yeah, I was definitely worried. I was like, I don't want it to be just like latched on to you and not see any of our other friends. So I think we've done a good job so far though of hitting people up and seeing people, and especially just taking like alone time together, even in the house together at night, but just doing separate deals and
I can totally see though
each other's company.
You know when people talk about how you're in the same room but you're not present? I can totally feel that sometimes though, which I think is not a bad thing, but I think a lot of people fall into that like too heavily. Where it's
I
like
was gonna say-
we're in the same house, but we're never present. Like
Yeah.
I barely even noticed that you're here.
Like, I definitely could see how that would end up being a problem eventually, because, yeah, even though we have a
100%.
small house, and, like, I
Um,
was worried about that, too, just the amount of space, but, like, I don't
Yeah.
know.
And like imagine if you knew someone for like 3 months, married them, moved in together, and then like fell into that. It's almost like a valley in your little bell curve.
Yeah.
It's like, oh god, we're in trouble now. So
Like crazy.
I'm happy we haven't fallen into that.
What do
But-
you, what is just your thoughts about, like, people moving in together, young people especially? Because I feel like outwardly we're pretty young, and I would say
100%.
if
True.
you would have asked me before we were dating, or even like probably 5 months ago, like, should 22-year-olds like move in together and like try and make a deal, I probably would have said like, no, don't do that. That's a bad
Dude,
idea.
yeah, I
So
would have
what-
said hell no.
Yeah, what's your official stance on it now?
My official?
Yeah.
Even now, I feel the same way. I still think it's a horrible idea. Like, I think that, and this is gonna sound like so what's it called? Self-righteous. Is that it?
I don't know what you're gonna say.
I'm gonna sound like a dick, is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm like, we're better than everyone else, you know? That's what I'm saying, but I'm not like meaning it in a bad way. I think our situation is completely different than all the other ones I've heard, and where people come up with the, we're in love. If
I
that's
was
why
gonna
you're
say,
moving
I
in
think
together.
our reasonings were very different than most 22-year-olds, and I think
Right.
that is, obviously for us, what it justifies.
Yeah.
It, but
And the fact that we had openly communicated about like that being part of the situation, like that we're not doing this just because we love each other, even though we do. We're doing this because it's the best move financially, emotionally, I think is another big part of that. And I think we both knew that we would come out better if we did this. Where in like most situations, it's kind of a gamble. You know,
Yeah.
especially if you don't know someone very well. It's just like, we're going to try to move in together and just see what happens.
yeah,
But,
I
like-
think,
Go ahead.
I don't know, I would say we're still pretty early in our relationship.
Mhm.
Like, we're about to hit the 2-year mark, but like, I would still call this like very early stages.
Oh, 100%.
And so, yeah, I think just, even since we've moved in together, I feel like I've like learned a decent bit about you that I thought I would have known after like a
Really?
year plus. I don't know, just like small tendencies, you know, like, I don't know, it's definitely just different. Yeah.
Was it good or bad? It's okay.
It's good, and I feel like I'm glad to get to see that, because I feel like we were like to a very comfortable point before, where we like had our little routine, and we like
Mhm.
saw each other when we saw each other, and we
Yeah.
were like very comfortable and happy in our little like back and forth,
We had everything
spending
very
time
dialed
at each
in.
other's houses, but
Mhm.
like also having our alone time. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know, I think it took a while to get there. Even like I remember at the beginning of our relationship, it was like really hard to like schedule in time to not be together, and time to like do our own
That's true.
things and be with our own friends. But yeah,
We were in
But-
such a unique situation though. Back then too. Because like when lockdown first started, it was just like, well, how do we not spend time together? Like
Yeah.
we might as well be together if we like I like hanging out with you more than anyone else.
yeah,
It's like, why would we not be together during this time?
and yeah, you were supposed to like limit how many people you're seeing, so it was just like
Mhm.
weird, like you and me, nobody else, like.
And it was very real at first, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We were definitely at like we're just gonna see each other
Yeah.
and like be safe.
Yeah.
And how many months do you think that was?
Oh,
Because it was a while. I think it was.
probably 3.
Yeah, I think 3 months is a good guesstimate, if you will. Because like I ended up working that summer, and were you there? You weren't there the whole time. You weren't there for a lot of it, actually.
Yeah, no, I moved in with you for a hot second when my
Mm-hmm.
lease ended
When
for
your lease was
a
up.
week and a half, and then I moved
So you
out.
moved in for a week and a half. what was that week and a half like?
Oh yeah, we've done like multiple test
Mhm.
rounds. It's not like we had never.
Exactly. So that's
lived
another like
together.
really unique part of us. We had seen what it was like to live together during the 3 weeks in lockdown, and then week and a half after that, which
And
is
then,
nothing.
Yeah, we've gone
Which is
on,
pretty
like,
much nothing.
vacations before, and then once you moved out of your house into your parents' house
Mm-hmm.
after college, you definitely also kind of just moved into my house. So we had a good
True.
experience. We knew.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely knew what I was getting into. I wasn't worried about anything like that.
Shifting gears a little bit, what was the most exciting part? So I asked you what you were worried about. What were you the most excited about?
I think I was most excited about just like having a little home to make my own. Like I think this rental that we ended up finding was just amazing, and the landlords are amazing, and they like do anything that you want to the house, and that's just such a rare opportunity. And I'm such a project gal, so
Mm-hmm.
I think just the world of possibility was like so exciting. I was like, we can do anything, make it our little home, like.
Mhm.
And yeah, the fact that it's just you and me, and like there isn't anyone else to like
Right.
appease and worry about. Like we had been having roommates, and obviously you want to be really respectful when you have roommates because you do want them
Yeah.
to like be your friends. So
You're living in like a constant balance, and I would say that like there's still a portion of that here, but I don't know. I feel like we're so open compared to what I was like with my roommates. Which like I don't think either one of us are afraid to say if we don't like something, or if we feel like it would, like things would be better if we did it this way, or
yeah,
X, Y, and Z.
I feel like there's so much more open communication, and it's just so much like it's just comfortable. It just
Yeah.
feels like our house. There's nothing to
Right.
worry about.
And there's so much more security every time like I say something. Like when I was talking to my friends, it was just like, what if they hate me for like a week? You know, like what if they're just like, I'm gonna ghost you for a while.
Yeah.
Like that unexpected part, or like I guess unpredictable part, was really intimidating, I would say.
Yeah. And I feel like that's just kind of how it is with friends. You don't know how they are at every second. So you don't know when they don't want to be talked to, and so it's hard when you live with them to like discern when it's really a good time to bring stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's definitely a different, unique part of living with a significant other, is that it's always a good time for open and honest communication.
Open and honest.
Feel like I said that?
I did. I felt very what can I say? Very intentional. So when we did move in together, what were some things that you didn't expect, that were like, you know, whoa, I didn't think that was gonna happen, or I didn't consider that we'd have to do this?
Honestly, I think the first like real shock, which is gonna sound so dumb, I did not realize how much clothing you had. When I like first came in and you had like all your clothing on, I was like, what on earth? Like,
Context, I don't actually have that many clothes.
oh come on.
I really don't.
You have a lot more than I like suspected you'd have.
Well, while I was living at your house, at your apartment before, I was limiting myself to like 6 or 7 outfits. Like, I have a total of 7 outfits that I can wear, and besides that, I am naked, and I need to wash my clothes. Well, and then when we moved in here, it was like my 7 outfits turned into 15 outfits, so I doubled my initial.
You think you have 15 outfits? You have at least like 30 shirts hanging in that closet right now. Like,
Oh, okay.
dress, button up. Like, those are like fancy
That-
work shirts, bro. Like,
That is a very unique situation, simply
Absolutely.
because they were all free.
I know.
So like I didn't buy 30 button-up shirts. No one would ever do that. But I was gifted 30 button-up shirts. So it's like, what do I?
Somebody bought the 30 button-ups.
I think a company made them and then gifted them to an employee. So no one really bought them. They were just they were charity work, basically. But and I don't know. I have to say I think my closet space is reasonable. I take up one shelf. You take up another. One like rack. I have a lot of jackets. That's a problem.
I'd also have so many jackets.
Yeah. Yours makes sense because you're. Well, mine makes sense too. like jackets. You just need them. Style.
I really love jackets.
Something that was unexpected for me. Neighbors. I did not expect to like really have to consider neighbors much, because I haven't really in the past. All my neighbors before.
Yeah, like none of your neighbors were like alive. I guess I literally don't.
I know, right?
I don't. They were like the most hush people.
I barely spoke to my neighbors.
I've always had, like, the wildest neighbors you've seen.
Really? Yeah. I mean, not like crazy in a bad way either. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, I'm scared. But they were chillers. Some of them.
But yeah, we had like a lot of neighbors. Like, there was a lot of people.
Yeah. But like, I've never had like a neighbor whom I interact with that consistently as we do here. Because the neighbors we have here, at least one of our neighbors, I feel like I interact with her every day, and it's never in a positive way. Like, someone's pissed at all times. And it's never really me, except for when her dogs attack me. Which they don't really attack, they just try to intimidate via loud noise.
Yeah, they're just little yipper dogs.
Just like, imagine an army of 1,000 chihuahuas, and then double that, and that's basically what her front yard looks like. The side yards, backyards, no one knows.
I mean,
maybe just cats.
Side yards are cats, yeah.
Whom actually decide to sleep in our yard at night.
Yeah, I was gonna say they definitely like enjoy living in our house instead, even though we don't feed them.
Right.
And I'm like, are you okay?
I don't know why they keep coming back. It must be that bad over there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or there's absolutely no room for the cats to sleep somewhere. So like, fuck, we gotta invade everyone else's backyards.
I've been really liking those cats though. Making me think I want a kitty cat.
All of them are so different and unique, and I think there's like a billion. Every time I see one, I feel like it's a different one. Like, I've never seen the same one twice. Even the black one that we really liked, I haven't seen him besides one time. So that's a little like weird.
I definitely see the repeats, but
You
there's
do?
a lot of them. There's two gray and white ones with like pretty long fur that I like consistently recognize.
My apologies, I was fixing the music. I think it stopped. But it's back. One other thing. Let's think. Wow, we've actually covered a lot of stuff that I was going to talk about. In terms of your parents, what do you think the worst thing that would happen? Like, nuke goes off, all hell breaks loose, like, what would happen?
I think more so for me, it was like fear of just complete financial, like, cut you off, get out of my face, we don't want to talk to you kind of deal. Like, it was, I like know that they couldn't fully not talk to me over us like moving in together. Come on, they love you, yeah, like,
yeah,
they weren't gonna be that mad. But I did think that they were really gonna just like pull all funding for my mission, which like I'm pretty financially independent at this point, pretty much solely, but like I don't know, health insurance.
Yeah.
Phone bill.
Car insurance, all the insurance.
Yeah, like there's just some things, and like I don't know, they help with the vet bills, so like they've
Right.
just been
They
so
tell you to go to the
supportive. So
dentist.
yeah, I didn't want to like really upset them.
Right. Ruining that relationship is like.
Yeah, they're good Catholic people. They don't want us living together if we're not married, but
Their
I
hearts
thought
aren't
it was
in
funny. My mom's reaction was more so like get married rather than don't live together, which
I guess that's a positive thing, right?
oh yes, yeah.
Were you slightly concerned?
I think that's crazy. I think that's bad advice, but
It's horrible advice. I mean, like, I'm not afraid to say I think it's a horrible idea to get married this young. Horrible. No matter who you are.
Aren't we going to a wedding next week? I don't think you should be talking like this.
We are going to a wedding next week, but I still feel the same way, regardless of who you are. I think any good advice would be the longer you wait, the better and more confident you'll be. And, right? Worst that could happen is what? Just because you spent 4 more years not being married, what's the problem? Like, marriage doesn't like all of a sudden give you like this ability to do X, Y, and Z.
I think for some people it is children. I have to.
You think?
I have to think. I really don't know.
At this point, it's like a formality. Like, look at all the people who have kids. Most people have kids and then get married.
Yeah, that is becoming more and more popular, which is cool. It's like opening up some different doors. But yeah, I think for some people our age, that is the motivator. Is like, okay, well, we can get married and then we'll settle down and have kids, and like those are stereotypical like steps that you take, you know.
Yeah, but the stereotype, at least from what I've seen recently, has like really shifted. It's hard to say what the stereotype is now, I think. Like, a lot of women in particular are like deciding to like be completely independent, you know? Like, I'm gonna pursue my dreams without anyone. Like, solo mission. Which is like, I don't think it's because they have anything about being against being in a relationship, but I think it's just because it's almost like a prove the haters wrong kind of thing, you know? Like, I can live my whole life on my own kind of situation.
Yeah.
Which I respect. That's totally cool. But that's like kind of a popular thing right now. Would you agree? Disagree?
I think it's a
Anything
lot
else?
more popular now than like it was before. Like it just wasn't socially acceptable for women to not want children. Like that was just.
What a time. Like, what?
Yeah,
How was that ever a thing?
And even now, like there's definitely, I think in the married community, if you take the steps to get married and kind of do the deal where you get a house and live kind of the suburban life, if you are within that group of people and you choose not to have children, I think you're also kind of like an outcast there, you know? So I think it's really like who you choose to surround yourself with as far as what the normal is, because I don't know, like everyone at my work is getting to child age and they're definitely nobody's in any kind of rush to work on that. So I think it just really depends on like what kind of people you put yourself around.
That's fair. Okay. I think a big thing people wonder is moving in together. I guess moving in general, but like this in particular. If you were to like, if someone else came up to you and was like, how much work was that? Doing all of it. What would you say?
Oh my lordy. That was
Bitch,
so
you
much
fucked.
damn work. It was a lot. That was not easy. And it's still not easy. Like, every day I get up and bust my ass and the house is still not done. So, like, shit, man.
I know.
Oh,
I felt like we
sorry.
made so much like heavy progress at like the beginning.
I do too. I think it like feels like a lot when you first move in and you like get some furniture anywhere. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah. Like, whoa, this room's done.
It's
Even though
coming
it's
together,
not
yeah.
even close to done.
And then once you really start to look at it, you're like, oh my gosh, I need so much.
Oh, this room's not even close. We're so
Yeah.
fucked. I think that's kind of like to be expected, but it does feel like you're making so many huge steps when you start setting up a room, and then you have stuff in it in like a place you like. Then it feels like, wow, it made so much progress today. And then you like think about one lamp in that room for like 3 days, and you're like, God damn it, I haven't made a single dent in this whole lamp situation. I'm so embarrassing. Like,
Literally me.
what am I doing?
Thinking about putting up those lamps for 3 days.
I don't know. It gets more difficult the more stuff you have in there, you know? Like, the closer you get to finishing a room, the harder it gets
I know.
to finishing the room. So, I totally get why people hire an interior designer and just be like, hey, just design everything, please. And
Yeah.
just, like, set it up, because I just want to move in and not do anything. Like, I feel that, especially if they have the money to do it. Shee! I'm in. Like, that sounds nice. But your mom does that for a living. Would you say those people think it's worth it when all is said and done?
So I think it really, and from what I've seen with my mom's business, it so depends on your personality type whether or not you can hire an interior decorator or not. Like, I think some people can do it and they're really successful, and whatever comes together, like, oh my gosh, this is beautiful, and they're like grateful and poised and like really awesome about it, and like can value what's been done and like see why it was worth it for them to do that. But I think there's also a lot of people who are just like, what in the shit? I could have done this myself. Like,
you freaking suck at interior design. What is this? It looks horrible. Is that a thing?
Nobody's like that, but people are just very nitpicky where they're like, oh, I would have done this instead of this. And like, I think those people, even when they go into other people's houses, look around and think like, oh, I would have done this instead of this. And like, that's fine. It's just a personality type, but like,
that's a girl to show like,
you're never gonna be fulfilled being that kind of person and hiring an interior designer. Like, you're gonna be angry. You're gonna be sad at the amount of money you paid, and it's not gonna be done when you think it's done.
It'll never be satisfying.
No, you're just never gonna be done really moving because you're just always gonna want something different. Which I think to some degree, I definitely fall into that category. I think there's always something on my mind for the house, and I'm like, ooh, it would look so good if I did that, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think you're the type of girl to like walk into, you know, like if we go to like a house party or something, I don't think you're the one to walk in and be like, oh, that countertop just shouldn't be that color, or like, oh, I would have rearranged it this way.
No, definitely not. I think I like to appreciate other people's space, and I think I do really like to like try and get ideas from other people, because everybody just does everything so differently, and so I do like to just appreciate how people are working their vibes.
I feel so judgmental, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I'm the guy that does that. I think I get it from my family.
Really?
Like, yeah, I feel like I walk into someone else's house and I start to notice like things that I would do differently. It's never like negative. It's just like if I lived here, you know, So I don't think it's ever like, oh gosh, what were they thinking? But I'm like, I think I would have moved that.
Yeah.
So,
which I think that's also normal human instinct. That's not like super bizarre thing.
Another question. Another one. Would you say that moving in together, the whole process, strained our relationship in any way?
I mean, yeah. I'm not gonna say it didn't. You know, like it just was a lot. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of effort. But I don't think it was like for the worse. I think it was a good thing. Like, it was hard for a while, but now it's like so rewarding, and I think there was also just like a lot of opportunities for us to like appreciate one another and like what we were doing. And,
true,
like,
very true.
I don't know. There was definitely a lot of time where we were both like so hot and so sick of carrying boxes and just like so over it that we'd rather die than continue on. But we definitely got like a little snappy here and there. But I think
it's easy to get that way though when you're like under that much stress.
Yeah, under that much stress, and it was just so hot. We chose to move when it was so hot outside, and it's a downfall. That is my huge recommendation to all the listeners out there: move when it's cold. Don't move
when it's cold, or should you just move when it's like super comfortable?
Just pick not the middle of July or middle of June. It was so hot. It was awful. It was like the hottest week in Colorado.
Yeah, that just really worked against us. But there wasn't like much of an option at that point. We had a limited window. We
had a very limited window, and then we were also doing it only after work. So we were doing it only at 3 p.m., the hottest time in the afternoon. Like, the stars just aligned for it to be terribly hot, and that's okay. We survived it.
True. It really tested our will.
It did. Like, being that hot, it changes you. It does.
But yeah, the perfect time of year, I would honestly say September.
Yeah,
like,
I was going to say August or September. But also, I don't think the housing market's like particularly good then.
I mean, the housing market isn't good at all right. Like it doesn't matter right now.
Sure.
So yeah, if you're gonna move, don't. That's the advice. Just don't do it at all until maybe like 5 years down the line. Maybe. I mean, it's impossible to predict what's going to happen, but 5 years, I would say. I feel comfortable saying 5 years.
Give it a quick 5.
Give her a quick 5. If you can find a couch to maybe stay on to surf on for a minute, then maybe go with that.
Well, back to your question now. So.
Yeah. What's up? Did it strain the relationship?
Yeah, that's what we were talking about.
Mm-hmm. Did you think it was something else? No. Did you come up with a new question?
I just got like lost in the sauce for a hot second.
There's a lot of sauce going on. It's all good. Did you think of a different question that you were like gonna answer?
I don't even know.
I don't even know what's going on, man.
I don't even know where I am right now.
You actually partially answered one of my other questions, which is what advice would you give someone else, not someone else, but another couple moving in together? First piece of advice, move in when it's cold. Also, don't move in now. Also, don't be as young as we are.
Well,
those are mine.
That's like kind of hypocritical.
I'm gonna go with the hypocrite.
Don't do it if you're 21 because we're 21 and we did it, and that's like no.
Don't do it if you have any doubts. How about that? Like, I feel like I had no doubts at all, and I still feel that way.
Agreed. Don't do it if you have any doubts at all, just because that is like your living situation. Like
there's no escape. You don't get to back out.
You don't get to back out, and like that's your stuff. Yeah, it's just like it's a legal document. You're signing a full commitment. Your name is on it. Your credit is tied to it. Like it's a big deal. It's not for the faint of heart. And it's definitely like you got to think about it. And if there's any chance that you might not want to be with this person, or any kind of circumstances would change, like it's a year-long commitment. So if you haven't been dating for even a year, I don't know. Like that's a whew.
It's hard to say.
Even us having only dated for like a year and some change, like whew.
Yeah, no.
That was a commitment, like.
It was a bit of a risk.
Yeah.
But c'est la vie. I think like it's hard, like you're saying, being hypocritical. Uh-oh. Andy. Sorry, the puppy is acting up. Well, it's actually another puppy from another place that's telling him to act up. But that's not important. I think in a lot of situations, it's just so circumstantial. Like, it's not just like a yes or no matter what. Or like, because of this criteria, it's a yes or no. But I think there's definitely some guidelines you can put down.
Guidelines and definitely just like conversation. Like we talked about it so much. We talked about it, what we wanted when we started looking for places. We talked about everything when we walked through. Like we toured multiple places and talked about them. So like, I think just really making the right decision, because we definitely went and looked at places that were just not the right places, and we were like excited to move in together, and it was like, yeah, maybe we should apply, and then like we would go home and talk about it and be like, absolutely not, like this is that's not it, that's not the perfect circumstance, and like the perfect circumstance will come up, we just gotta wait it out.
Right.
And that's really hard, especially when you have a lease ending, to like
when that pressure is on,
to keep your chill and like just know that something will work out. But obviously we were all Gucci on that one.
I think that's a really good piece of advice, is the right thing will come along. Don't jump into something that you feel like not sure about. Like, I think there was doubts. There'll probably be doubts no matter where you look, unless you're like building a dream home, and even then you might have like a little doubt. But in a circumstance where you're like touring a house, you and your partner are like, I'm not sure about this. Like, if you both kind of agree on a couple negatives and you seem to like gravitate towards those things, it's probably not the right place.
Yeah, I agree. I think with this one, when we found it, we both were like,
there was a lot of positives to talk about, you know?
Yeah.
Like, oh, there's this we like and that we like, and like this hits the criteria we had and that does. And there's like, oh, like a couple inconvenient things, but like, oh, those positive things just like outweigh it so heavily.
Yeah, I think we're both like really deeply in love, which I think makes it worth it when you both are.
Yeah, you need to be on the same
invested.
page.
Yeah.
Need to be, in my opinion. I think if one person has a decent amount of negatives that they're highlighting, like while you're touring or something, that means maybe that's not the right place.
Yeah.
But yeah, just consider the other person probably more than your own needs, and then like things will work out really well.
I think so
you're
too.
Thinking about the other person
I think
more.
If you're both like very selfless about it, it ends up working out really well.
Did you said it a little bit, but you said you learned some stuff about me. What stuff? Anything specific? You said tendencies. Don't expose me, but also what did you learn?
Don't expose you.
Exposed.
I don't know. I think that's such a hard question. I feel like it's nothing like earth-shattering. It's like the time you like to spend in between like when you get up and when you take a poop. You know, it's just like the random little nitty gritty that like
yeah,
you don't really pick up on when it's like all fun and cute and you're just like having sleepovers all the time. You know?
True.
It's different when you're fully like, this is my house and this is your house. Like,
right.
What up, buddy?
What up, bro? How's it going? Yeah, I noticed that I'm bad about giving alone time sometimes. I have like I feel an obligation to like address you, and sometimes I'm like, why am I doing that? I think she might want some time to just be outside of this.
I definitely feel like sometimes I do that to you too. I feel like sometimes I find myself just like following you around the house, like you're like
a dog.
walking around doing something. Yeah, I'm just like walking around, like I'm like on my phone or like doing the Rubik's Cube, like doing something, but just like literally walking behind you while you're doing stuff. I'm like, maybe just sit. Maybe don't follow him.
Sometimes I think that you need something.
Just love.
But I think you. Did so too. I think I've done that before too, and I think you've said like, "What's up?" And I'm like, I don't really know. I don't know why I'm here. I'm just here. I'm just present. Okay, I'm gonna shift gears a little bit because I feel like we have to talk about this.
Oh my god. Okay.
Loki season finale.
Oh,
I know. What did you think? First of all, yeah, rating 1 to 10. Okay.
All the Marvelous fans out there, like everybody who doesn't know what's happening right now, this is a Marvelous topic.
So leave now.
Nerdy stuff.
Get out.
If you haven't seen
Literally
Marvel
not
yet,
welcome.
like don't think that you're not gonna watch it. You're gonna go watch it. So like, don't let this be a spoiler.
Lily is now a stan, and believe it or not, 3 months ago she had not really understood anything, right? Is that fair to say?
I had like seen definitely the Iron Mans
and like, Endgame. Good work. You ruined it all.
Yeah, I like, but kind of, you know, I definitely just didn't know what was going on, like at all.
That's a shout out to Zach. Zach also made that mistake.
But yeah, you got me into them, and now I'm all about it.
So, also spoilers, probably. We probably will say what happened. Or something regarding where we're going, so it's going to be kind of we might spoil something. So, if you're going to watch it, yeah, then your warning was just now, so sorry.
Yeah.
But,
okay, that's a quick preface.
Season finale. Okay, I'm going to ask for 2 ratings. First one, season finale, 1 through 10. Your thoughts. Second one, the whole show, 1 through 10. And just give me the numbers for now, and we'll talk about it after.
Okay, whole show, 12. It's so good. It's flame.
Okay, rookie score.
Season finale, though? 7.5. I don't think I understood it. So, I didn't love that.
It felt very Game of Thrones-esque, where the first X seasons were insanely flame, and then the last season, you're like, what the fuck happened? You botched it.
Yeah,
now,
like,
I would have to agree with you. Okay, I'm not going for 12, but the whole show, entirely, I think I'm going like 8.8.
Okay.
Like, that was flame. That was a great score, great show. The finale, I think I'm going like 6.2. Didn't really obviously the ending, blowing up like the MCU and the multiverse and being like, all right, we just basically opened up like Pandora's box and everything from now on might not make any sense. Did you see a cat? No cat. Uh-oh, we hear fireworks. Indy's gonna be upset. Anyways, so yeah, opening up Pandora's box. There's a dog running past our window. The MCU basically just kind of dropped a bomb, which was cool. But the first 28 minutes of that episode, it was like, dude, can we just sum this up in like 30 seconds or so?
Yeah, it was just kind of like rough and confusing. And then they kissed, and I was just like, ah!
and then they kissed, and I don't know how anyone feels about that. I'm not gonna lie, part of me is into that. I was like, dude, that's sick. Like all this romance that had built up, I felt satisfied.
Part of me was into it, and part of me was cringing so hard it hurt.
Cringing? I feel like I was cringing for a while too. That's fair. That's a very fair assessment. But like, Marvel kind of gets away with that, where like the cringe turns into like acceptable.
I know, it's kind of weird.
Because Loki, through a lot of like the stuff he was saying, was like his lines were a little cringe. It was just like, oh my gosh, stop being a hero, like you're a villain. But it works. Like, they did it right. So, what do you think's going to happen next? We know Doctor Strange 2 is coming out next. So, what's that going
Loki
to
season
encompass?
2, like, what? Then that...
I know, Loki season 2, possibly confirmed for, like, a year and a half from now.
Yeah,
I'm going to get
so
a new drink, by the way. Let them know what you think of Loki season 2. Where do you think it'll go?
Yeah, I don't know where we're headed with the Loki season 2. I think... anything could really happen. Oh, Indy. Alright, we're going to take a brief intermission. If anyone needs some drinks or snacks, stretch your legs. Just enjoy yourself a bit, folks.
What? We're not taking an intermission. There's no such thing. BTW. Lily left the broiler on, so I turned it off, but...
No, I literally was turning the oven on so I could...
You have to turn it clockwise, like to the temperatures. Our oven's kind of weird, but yeah, we just broiled the fuck out of the inside of the oven. That's okay. This is a good time to open up your waters, as I'm opening up my water, obviously. Let's see, what else do we have here? So, I'm thinking Doctor Strange 2 is either going to be about saving Loki, right? So that Doctor Strange can appear in season 2 of Loki.
Okay.
Right? Because Loki's in, like, the other version of, like, he's in a different universe. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So, like, either saving him from that and, like, closing the multiverse, but obviously they can't solve it in one movie. Like, they can't solve it in Doctor Strange, because then, like, where would they go after that? So, probably saving Loki will be, like, the ultimate goal, and maybe they'll do it. That's my theory. Do you think it'll go there? Or somewhere else?
So, like, everyone still hates Loki, dude. Like, everyone knows that he's an ass, like...
I guess that is true.
You know?
Our
Like,
characters think he's an asshole.
yeah, like, nobody's coming to save this man.
But, what if they notice that, like, he is the source of, like, the branch timeline? And they see, like, oh, this all, like, stemmed from Loki. And so, like, we have to find him. Maybe that's what they do.
Maybe. I can either see, like... I don't know, I kind of really see Sylvie
Mm-hmm.
being the one to, like, rescue him.
Oh. But she hates him. Or, like, it's hard to say if she does or not.
She's just, like, confused, you know?
Aren't we all?
Aren't
I'm
we all?
fucking confused.
I'm so confused.
What's Sylvie's motive? Does she like him? Does she not? I couldn't tell you.
I think she loves him and she just really doesn't know, like, how to love.
She doesn't know how to trust, and his quote. But, I don't know. We'll see. They might not even appear in Doctor Strange 2, in which I'm probably going to be a little upset. But, Tobey Maguire, are you hyped or not to see another Spider-Man?
I'm pretty
Spider-Man
hyped.
4, basically.
I'm pretty hyped.
Did you ever watch the original Spider-Mans? With Tobey Maguire? No? Like, like, the first one, he...
Are these ones we've seen or no?
No, we haven't seen these ones. These are, like, back in 2000s with Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man. You haven't seen them? Bro, okay. If anyone else hasn't seen them, they're flame until the third one. And even the third one, I would argue it's worth watching because of the memes. But the first and second are awesome. And the second one, okay, Tobey Maguire is Spider-Man. He's fighting Doc Ock, like Dr. Octopus. He's got, like, the metal arms everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah? Basically, the actor who played Dr. Octopus has confirmed in an interview that he's going to show up in Doctor Strange 2 as himself, as Doc Ock. So, my coworker, Joey, has theorized that the way that Doctor Strange 2 Begins is at the end of Spider-Man 2, the original, which is basically like Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire, and Dr. Octopus are like fighting, and like they're like in the water. It doesn't matter, but like he's theorizing that's gonna start there, and Doctor Strange is gonna like enter that multiverse and like take Spider-Man and be like, we need your help, and then like teleport him to like their multiverse.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And like rewrite basically Spider-Man and everything.
Literally.
Which would be super cool. Like, if you'd seen Spider-Man 2, it would be like, oh my gosh, what?
Yeah, it's literally just so crazy how they can like tie everything in and pull everything back together.
So if they do that, then we're gonna have to watch the original Spider-Man. You probably wouldn't have to watch
all the movies. I'm so sad now.
Well, we have watched all the Marvel movies, but since Tobey Maguire is gonna be in this one, we might have to just like get a little context. It's not that important, but I love those movies, and I have them on DVD. I know, so kind of opens it up to so it could be pretty flame if we watched them.
I love it.
Okay.
What other questions do you have for me, Mr. Interviewer?
Mr. Interviewer, I like that. It's got a nice ring to it. Honestly, I think you can come up with a better name. I'm just kidding.
Donnie Boy.
Danny Boy. Look me up. Anyways, I think you've pretty much wrapped up everything that I wanted to talk about. Is there anything else that like you want to talk about, topic-wise, or question, anything random?
She's been tough on.
What's the first thing that came to your head when I said that? Random.
This wasn't as hard as I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be really scary.
See? It's not that bad.
I do feel weird though.
It feels weird, but also, it's pretty much just like having a conversation just in a very particular room with very particular things around you. And then, for you, this is it.
Yeah.
Unless you want to know more afterwards, in which I'll show you, but this is the end. No.
No, it's definitely good, but it's different than our normal conversation, you know?
I know, I've noticed that. And I don't know why it is, because I had the same thing with Paulo. When we talked, I was just like, this feels like strangely different. Yeah. So it's like, I wish it was more genuine, but it just isn't. I think the only way to do that is if you just like put a recorder in a room and only you knew it was going.
And kind of forget about it, yeah.
Yeah, and you forget about it and just like have conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But the hard part about that is a lot of those conversations have a lot of like silence.
I was gonna say there's some lulls in that.
Yeah. And there's also like, you know, people talk about like weird things that they'll be like, I don't want anyone to know that I said that.
Yeah, even this, I'm like, are we gonna publish this?
Are we gonna expose ourselves?
Literally, what if people hear this?
No one will hear this. No one.
Thanks for joining everyone who's online, all our viewers and fans. Been great
all of our homies.
talking to you guys today.
If we get either, I'm thinking Evan and Taylor or Paulo back for another episode, would you want to be on it? Make a couple guest appearances?
I would love to collab.
Cool. We have confirmed collaboration then.
I will be back. This will not be the last
I'll
of
be
my
back.
podcast.
What did you just call it?
A podcast.
Maybe that should be the name of the podcast.
The podcast.
The podcast?
That'd be pretty funny.
It's a little uncomfortable,
We
but
could
I
do
like
from
it.
the bathroom.
That would be difficult.
If
but
we could
cool.
do a podcast while I was in the bath, that would
While you were in the bath,
Yeah, I love baths.
would I have to sit on the toilet?
Or you could be in the bath. I don't know why you don't want to just also tub.
There's just like a lot of wires, and I think we might die. But that's cool. Like we could do.
Only the toaster.
You don't think this microphone's wiring would have a problem in water?
No, no way. That looks waterproof as heck.
It is a pretty sexy mic. Okay.
All right.
You good? Anything
Cheers.
else?
No, nothing really.
Okay, then.
Thanks for joining
That's
us.
it.
Oh my god.
That's it for the podcast. I think next guest is gonna be Paulo. Paulo is coming back. Episode 2, baby. First one on YouTube, but episode 2 for our official podcasting. So I'm gonna bring him back, and then I think Evan's on after that. Might do a Evan Paulo episode, a double.
Oh my gosh.
So there's gonna be a lot of crazy stuff going on here. Lily has her work cut out for her. We're gonna have to host a lot of people.
Woohoo!
But we're excited. I'm excited.
I'm so stoked.
All right, sweet.
Well, we'll see you guys next time.